Did I ever embarrass you as a teenager? Guys, she just broke bad news on this podcast.
He was like, what are you doing? Like, we do not.
Hello. Welcome back to Raising Ohana. Usually Dad and I sing like this weird harmonizing thing where we don't actually harmonize. It's embarrassing.
Raising Ohana.
Yeah, it's like that. Okay, we have a special guest here. It's not Jay. Surprise! It's Clay. Clay, if you don't know our family and you're new to Raising Ohana, we have 6 children. And Clay is our beautiful oldest child. And we're so excited to have her here with us because I've got some juicy questions, but also some like really dig down deep. We're going to figure out how she felt about going from obviously like a teen to becoming an adult and now to marriage. Clay's visiting and we're doing some fun YouTube videos. So Clay, just a little background of what you do right now. Like what do you do for your career?
I am obviously doing YouTube just like our family does. I have 2 channels, one with my husband and then one that I do by myself with my sisters. And then,
because Clay is the ultimate big sister, so she's got some fun big sister content.
That's what I like to do. I like to basically give other girls that are watching, people in general, the big sister that they wish they had, that they never had, whatever it is. And so that's why I do that with my sisters. But then I have an Instagram and a TikTok, which is where I focus mainly on married life, kind of going through these different life changes right now, basically.
I love it because Clay's very real. She shares like embarrassing things that might happen, but like really cute things, all sorts of fun stuff. So we will kind of share all of Clay's things so you can check out what she's doing because she's got fun things on the horizon. But we're going to wind it all the way back and talk what it was like being raised in a large family. Not like you know the difference between a small family and a large family, but what was it like being the oldest of a large family and being in a large family?
Yeah, I don't know the difference between being young, like being in a small family. So I would definitely have to say that being in a large family, there's a lot of people to always keep you occupied, I guess I could say. Being the oldest is definitely different. I feel like I see my sisters, and of course, I can't say anything about how like, oh, I wish that I had older sisters because I feel like for me personally, I'm a great big sister or whatever.
We'll talk about the weird things that you taught the little ones when they were little later, but keep going.
I had some fun. But I would say that, I mean, that's how life was. And so, yeah.
Well, your husband comes from an equally large family. So I guess if you married into a family that had like one sibling, right, then you could kind of compare. Mm-hmm. So here's a good question. Did I ever embarrass you as a teenager? You can tell the truth, Clay.
Probably.
This is a safe space.
Probably. Something I've realized with Brady, so he obviously grew up in a very different family in the sense of his family's a little bit more mellow, you could say. They still have a lot of fun and we still laugh a lot
as well.
Yeah, maybe just quieter.
We're loud.
Their levels are a lot lower. So now living with Brady and being more close to his side of the family, I like coming here, I'm like, oh, wow.
Do you get overstimulated?
Yes.
Is it like, whoa, in your face?
I really do, actually.
Which is funny because right now we're missing 2 kids. Like Raquel and Shay are gone, I feel like you're the loudest in the family, mm-hmm. or used to be. You have like quieted down. Then Raquel and then Shay are loud as well.
I seek the most attention.
But I mean, just like when you're in the house, and maybe that's it. Maybe it is seeking attention because you're like, hey, come hang out with me. Let's go do this fun thing.
So you can always tell where I am because I usually am bringing along other people. Or I also just love to have fun by myself. I catch myself laughing at myself constantly. And I literally talk to myself.
Like little like dancey like, and maybe that's when you're talking to yourself. I've caught you like doing like.
Or if I'm doing the dishes, you can tell that I'm talking to myself and I'm probably not happy. So I kind of just entertain myself, which can bring on a little bit of the louder side because I am like bursting out random quotes or random liners of a song. And then I'll usually be like, gosh, shut up, Clay. Like, stop it. And people are like, what? In public, I will not do that. In public, I don't do that. I'm very quiet in public, actually.
I think so. I found that, like, as a younger child, you were very more out there and talking to people all the time. Clay was our, like, no stranger danger. Like, strangers were not dangerous. We would have to be like, Clay, stop approaching people and like saying hi. And when she was really little, which we loved, she was great at like talking to new friends and meeting new people, would always introduce herself and like, what do you like to do? Let's be friends. You know, Clay made friends really easy, which was like epic. She kind of set the tone for the house, but our house is loud because Jace and I are very loud people. I come from a loud family. Would you say Dad's family or my family is louder?
See, I haven't seen,
I guess, the whole
your
family
side of the family
together
as often.
Yeah.
But
what about like say your bridal shower when like Aaron was there and like cousins? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I'd say it's equal, but in different settings.
Yeah, I guess that's
I'd probably say it's equal in different settings. But going back, like, to what you were asking with the question, I think I probably have been embarrassed, like, specifically in public, because I'm more aware now, living with Brady and living with a different lifestyle, about those things, if that makes sense.
Interesting. And I do think, like, which we'll talk a little bit about later when we get to, like, your marriage life, like how you've kind of settled into that. But it's so interesting what we observe. Jason and I talk about this, and we've talked about this, where when you get married, you're colliding two different worlds, two different family cultures, and one of them is always weirder than the other. Or at least like when you get married, you're like, whoa. And we have come to realize that our family for Clay is probably the weirder one. We're the like loud one, the weird one. Like at one of our family gatherings right before Clay got married, we were like, oh my gosh, it's us. We're so awkward. Like, we're weird.
Well, I mean, and
your in-laws are cool. I like them a lot.
Because, like, I wouldn't say, they would probably say the exact same thing, that you guys are super cool, very outgoing, very different. I think weird definitely,
I guess that's a hard, like, thing to pinpoint.
Depends, yeah.
You know, to be like, what classifies as weird. Okay, well, that's fine. We're going to move on. So, you've been embarrassed a lot, I'm sure, as a teenager, especially because YouTube, there was a lot of Clay on YouTube, and Clay loved to sing before we did YouTube. And then when we got YouTube, we were like, do you want to do music videos? And we did some really fun ones, but I think that brought a whole new level of embarrassment. I remember when our video went viral, our Teen Crush video, and within like a week of it going live, the school had called me because we filmed in the school, which we had permission for, but we filmed in the school, her high school. And like one of the principals or somebody called and was like, we'd like to know if we can play it throughout the school. And I was like, that sounds really embarrassing. I would say no. But I said, Clay, what do you think? And I don't know if you felt pressured.
In school, I was not somebody that was popular. I wasn't the cool kid. I was actually targeted and bullied more. And I am somebody that
Before YouTube.
When YouTube was at like, I remember like it being at 10,000 subscribers. And I was just watching it go up. And I was like, guys, look, I'm pretty cool because we have a YouTube channel. But nobody at that time knew about it, cared, nothing. So I was being bullied. I was being like just...
Well, like junior high, middle school are literally the crap years of life, though. I fully believe this is when kids are mean, intentionally mean, because they're so self-conscious about themselves. Like they're like, I don't know if I look good.
And you're also going through puberty, PMSing for the first time. And so people are just kind of all put together with all the emotions and all these different situations and have to figure it out. So anyways, when it came out, I was like, yeah, like sounds fantastic. Maybe I'll gain friends this way. I didn't have in my head this idea of what it meant to have real good friends. I kind of was just looking for,
I think you're right, like
people to like me in whatever way that was, whether that was me changing my hair, always straightening my hair, wearing certain clothes. So when it came out and when they were doing that, I was like, oh yeah, like that's pretty cool. And then a week later, everyone's watching it. I have all these girls that I've looked up to and I've seen in the halls.
They like played it just to clarify, they played it throughout the entire school, kind of like
they sent it in like an email list to all the teachers. So I watched it one day, I think 4 times.
Holy cow.
In my class, because they were emailed the video and like, oh, this girl goes to our school, and then whenever I was in that specific class, then they would play it.
Isn't that crazy? Oh
so I had like a lot of girls start like, oh my goodness, you should come and sit with us. Oh my gosh, you should, like, let's take a picture together. And then I was like, oh, wait a second, this is so fake.
Yeah.
And then it was difficult.
Did you realize it like right away? Or was it like it took like 10 times of 10 different people to be like, oh, you don't really like me for me. You like because I had this popular video or something.
I think I realized it pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Like, it didn't take very long, but it took a long time for me to be like, okay, I this isn't a real friendship. I shouldn't even be trying for this, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, and I think that presents some hard experiences for you to probably even navigate what real friends look like, which I'm sure took some time to do that. Okay. So you become pretty popular on YouTube. We grow even more and more and more, which creates their own challenges. Years go on and Clay graduates early, the December of her senior year. So what is it like being parented to now, from this point you graduate, Clay goes to college, she goes on a mission, comes home, she's getting married. Now you're kind of like a peer. I think I still parent you, but I feel like parent way less. Like, so this is an interesting thing, like being parented to becoming like a peer, like a same level to the parents, which we may not be equally the same level, because I know it's hard as a parent. I probably will still be like, take your vitamins, Clay,
or tell me to do chores when I'm visiting.
That is just, guys, that's just common courtesy, Clay. Come on.
Yes. Okay, but
this is a question that we've had for
think
some
about
time.
this. If Brady was the one coming to visit, would you tell Brady to like have a day of food and to pick up chores? Or any visitors, say like the visitors that came by in December, would you tell them? Now, yes, it's common courtesy, obviously, to help. Obviously, when I come and visit, I know, oh, we want to help do dishes, we want to help clean things.
True.
But are you going to ask them to do a specific chore or like make food on a specific day? Does that make sense?
That does make sense. And I do think that I probably still do that, because when you have come with Brady, you're like, ooh, we want to cook this night. And I'm like, great. Mm-hmm. So, and you're right. As a parent, I think it is harder on the parent side to to welcome an adult child into the peer zone, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And we've had this conversation a lot, which you have done great. After like Clay came back from college, I was like, you got to get back on the chores and da-da-da. Which I do think if you lived in the house,
that's different.
For a period of time, it's different. But you're right. Visiting, it should be probably consulted versus like, Clay, I put you on the chore wheel. Although I didn't put you on the chore wheel. I did ask for you to do a day of cooking.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, common courtesy, we are coming and visiting and being allowed to stay here. So that makes a lot of sense. And I can see where, like, getting onto that peer level, because for 20 years, 18 years, however long it's been, you've been teaching me and I've been a child here. Whereas now I've moved out. Now I'm independent. Now
you do all these things that we do on your own level.
We have our own family.
In your own home. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how does that and give me tips. Like, what are some things that would help you feel more like a peer, like as like another adult versus as a child?
I think it all comes down to trust.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to trust, and just, I feel like us as a family, we can be more controlling in the sense of there are chores, there are commitments, there are schedules, right?
So lightening the schedules.
So we have, not so much lightening the schedule, but just you don't have control in the sense of being under the same, like living in this house at all.
So do you mean like, sense. Yes, in a way. So are you saying that one should ask more, like, hey, Clay, would you mind, or do you want to, do you know what I mean? Like, what should we be doing? Should we be asking for you to help out or not asking? Or, you know what I mean? Waiting for you to offer? Do you know what I'm saying?
I feel like, probably waiting for the offer, because that's where trust comes in. Trust of
trusting
you've
that
taught me
you
well.
will participate
You've
in a mess or in like,
and
you know, like
hoping,
something
because
that's
now obviously I don't say this to be like, well, I mean, we're just the visitors, so we're gonna be lazy butts and we just don't care about helping. But trusting and hoping that we will help, which we will, but that's about all the control.
that's hard. I'm gonna say as
No,
a parent that's hard,
obviously-
but it's good. No, it's
obviously,
good
like,
to hear this is what I'm saying.
In a full, like if everybody is helping cleaning, I think it's also hard because I think Brady and I have different perspectives because Brady comes into this home and he's not a part of the family. In the sense of he did not grow up in this house, he is not one of your children, right? Whereas I am. So I feel like it's just really hard. I think that it's just about trust, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
No, I think it's really good because I think the hardest part as a parent is to help that small child, like you were talking about. You grow, you teach them, they do all these things, you launch them into the world, and then they come back at some point, like, you know, like now you've been out of the house 4 years, 5 years almost, right? And you're at the point where this is a little bit different than like when you just left the house, right? Because when you just left the house, you still come home and live at home for a period of time.
Yeah.
Whereas now you are on your own, you've got your own house, you've got your own spouse, you've got like your family, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point, parents need to, like you're saying, trust more, distance from the expectation, like, oh, you know, you've got to cook and clean again when you come and visit, right? When it's visiting, it's different. So this is really good for me to hear. It's hard because I have to go, okay, she's not a child anymore, which is not like I think of you as a child. It's more so like, oh, I just love it when people help out.
For sure.
Can you do this with, you know, can you be the helper this day?
I think, well, did your parents do that once you were married? Were they more the type when you guys
married,
would come and visit?
we never, once I got married, I never went and stayed at my parents' house until I had two kids or one kid.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true because
So like I got married, had you, then we
your-
moved to Hawaii.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like I came home and stayed with my family for a weekend. I never did that until I had like 1 or 2 kids came back and visited for a week. And so I think when it has children, that was different because I was always
That's very, very different for
right,
sure.
like taking care of like you, baby you.
But do you feel like your parents would be the types to do that?
Yes.
I feel like that's where it's different. I feel like that's where
my mom would have. I mean, my dad never told us like, I mean, he would be like, hey, can you take out the trash? Can you do this? Can you? And so like my mom would be like, hey, if you're home, can you, when we did visit for like a week, hey, do you guys want to like choose a meal and do stuff? So like, I think I'm passing down what I was taught.
Because I think Brady and I have had many conversations about this too, just because the families are different in great ways. His family is not the same with that. That's where I think what I'm saying comes from is more of his side of where his parents obviously take care of the home with the kids that live at the home. Yes, there is hope that the kids visiting, now there are 3 that have moved out.
Yes.
And are married.
Whereas
right?
like you're kind of still experimental
I am the very
child.
first one.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, yes, they will help. They offer, right? That's where the trust comes in, I feel like. They offer to bring food, to bring treats. They kind of pick up where they can because they know because the relationship with their parents is great. That's where I'm learning that this whole idea of trust comes into play, because trust, from what I feel like we learn, trust is hoping, and it's hard to use it.
Well, I
without
feel like trust, because trust is like, I trust you that when you come over, you're gonna pick up after yourself when you eat food, or you're gonna make your bed, but like
hoping.
That is
more
true.
of
That's
hoping, trusting that you taught us well, trusting that we have good morals.
That's true.
But if it doesn't happen, and it's hard to say that it's not going to happen because then I just sound like a terrible person, and I'm assuming and expecting
I think there's
that when I
common
come,
things that happen where you like even when you live at home, you forget to load the dishwasher, right? Like that's
you know,
different.
You know how, I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's this like meme basically on TikTok that's a kid or a teenager, I think it's specifically a teenager, is doing the dishes or going to do the dishes. And the mom comes in and is like, hey, Jimmy, don't forget to do the dishes. And then he like, oh my gosh. And then he storms off and he doesn't do that. Have you ever seen that?
No.
I feel like for a lot of people, at least for me, I know because I've been taught well, right? I'm going to help pick up. I'm going to participate because I am being allowed to stay here and being fed food and whatnot. But when it becomes an expectation, because I don't live here, because I'm not a kid anymore, then you just feel like you're a kid and you feel like you're still, the expectation is that you, or the perspective is that you still live at the house.
Yes, and you're still treated like a child. Yes, I totally get that because I feel like I'm the youngest. So every time I came home with kids, many kids, you know, there was still lots of like, Rachel, are you doing this? Rachel, are you doing that? And not like helping around the house necessarily, but like reminders of like the take your vitamins or do this, you know. But and now is like, what's interesting is now as a mom, on the mom side, it's really like I love you. Make sure you're taking care of your body. Make sure you're, and the things my mom was saying, in addition to chores or whatever, helping out, it was like that, like vitamins and, you know, like, are you sure? Like, does that baby need more food? Like, can I help you? You know what I mean?
You really
like,
got told to
I think it's really hard to, lots of vitamins. But I feel like it was really hard. It's really hard to not mom. It's really hard to not parent, right? And so like, I think still even going home, I still get parented far less because obviously as they get older, they're like, you do you know, like they're grandparents, you know, but they still will be like, Rachel, you look like you need to take your. No, I keep saying that because that's like what comes to my mind. But what I'm saying is reminders that you would naturally give your children maybe on a more consistent basis that they continue to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so I think you coming home, which is real this week, very real. I did put Clay on the cooking meal plan. Okay. So,
which is fine. And that's where I say like, it's completely fine.
But it's a good conversation to have because I'm like, okay, yes, we do need to trust that you will offer to help out or you will help out or whatever. And that is like a hope, right? And so I get that. I get that like balance, but it's true. I don't think you'll never not be parented though.
Well, and I think that's where it comes down to personality.
Yeah.
And what you've learned. That's why I asked if that's something that you think or have felt from your parents, because I think that that's different from another side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I feel like when we got married, Dad's parents were much more treated us like peers. And I mean, Dad was number 2 married, and so I don't know if that helped. And maybe you're feeling that because Brady's number 3 married in the family. So they're like, oh, we are experienced with married children, you know? So I find that very, very interesting. So now that you've kind of like grown and we're trying to learn not to like adult you, I will try not to, not adult you, parent you as much. But what have you learned that has helped you in adulthood? So like things that you were surprised, like, oh my gosh, Mom or Dad were right. Or, oh my gosh, why wasn't I taught this? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are some things that like, or maybe you like look at your peers as in like your friends or other people that are married and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm glad that I learned this because they have not learned that. Do you know what I mean? What have you took from your childhood that helped you into adulthood? And that could be obviously the last 4 years of life or, you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. And that's not to say that nothing helped me.
No, I think sometimes, I put you on the spot and then I did not prep Clay with any of these questions, but I'm looking for like what I found though. I do remember one time, you had called home and you were up in Southern Virginia University up at SVU. I don't know if it was your first or second or whatever semester you're there. And you were like, Mom, no one's cleaning.
Picking up after myself, I'd say. I think a lot of small habits that I just am not realizing right now, which is why it makes the question harder, that I probably learned here and I picked up here. And I think also that came with being the oldest as well, though. Because I will say the whole like certain habits are very different from me down to Cora too, though.
Oh, for sure.
With like efficiency, cleaning, stuff like that.
I do feel like you're a great organizer. Clay's always been very organized. Clay's always been very like you said, efficient. Like you probably got that more than other children in the family. And also really good, like task oriented. Like when you would babysit the kids or when you were in charge of like babysitting your siblings, be like, okay, I've got to feed them, you know, do this thing, put them to bed or whatever, you know, and like kind of go on to that. And maybe you'll think of some more things.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
That have helped you in adulthood. But now this one's a little bit different, but a similar mindset or like topic on that. We're going to move to like when you got married. What are some things that now that you have gotten married that you've taken from like your family culture here at our house that you have implemented into your new home? You know, it could just be any kind of habit like, oh, we do this at Christmas time or, oh, not even like holidays. We, you know, do this. Because when you have like your own childhood culture, your family culture, and you blend it with somebody else, you gotta, sometimes it's like a give and take. And there are things maybe that you've dropped. Like maybe you're like, oh yeah, we've decided we don't do that anymore. You know?
Well, we definitely don't only watch movies on Fridays and Saturdays. That's one that I can think of right now.
Well, you know what? That's funny that Clay says that because I think what's hard for you as like the oldest, when Clay left the house, there were so many young kids still in the house doing homeschool that we had like really strict rules. When you were younger, we watched a lot of movies all the time with you. But then when you got into like homeschool and public school, it was like, oh shoot, this is hard.
I think that's really just a time of life because I feel like.
And now you guys probably binge movies like every night or something. Maybe. I don't know. Is that what you do?
Oh yeah. We've gone through almost every Disney movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite series?
We're actually on season, I think, 12 or 14.
Of what?
Of Grey's Anatomy.
I didn't know they had that many
There's
seasons.
25.
There are 25 seasons?
There's current. The current season is 2025. I don't know if we'll make it that long. It's either 11 or 14. It's somewhere in between there. It might be 12. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
We've kind of gotten sick of it a little bit.
I think like I watched it. Dad and I probably watched it when it came out or like a little bit afterwards, like once or twice or maybe like half a season. But I literally don't even remember who the people are. I mean, I know the concepts of the show, but.
I could basically be a doctor now.
Really? So much knowledge. Much knowledge.
But actual habits that we've learned
culture
or
things
taken,
or
culture.
Like, you know, traditions is a good like kind of thought.
Remind me of some of the ones that we do as a family here.
Okay, here's a good one and a good debate for everyone. Christmas Eve dinner or Christmas Day dinner?
Both.
What?
We do both.
No, I mean we eat on Christmas Day, but I mean like it's not always a big dinner. We have a
Christmas Day dinner though.
We usually only do Christmas Eve big, and Christmas Day is usually leftovers.
Oh.
What do you do with the steals?
I don't know. We haven't done anything yet.
Oh, that's right. Wait.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Wait. Is this Christmas or Christmas?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm sorry.
We don't get you for Christmas? Guys, she just broke bad news on this podcast.
Here's the thing.
Right in front. What?
Here's the thing. It's because for his family, this year is his family's year or whatever.
You're lucky because you're the first. Because what if there was many and it was the same?
That's where, honestly,
like,
I don't want
out?
To do... That's one thing I kind of want to break is I don't want it to be, like, dedicated. This year is always... It always switches off. Because, I mean, I feel like we've seen with your side of the family, some years... They just don't do anything.
Yeah.
When it could be their year.
But it really is because now we have 1 million children, right?
So maybe once we have
like
a lot more
my
kids.
parents' side, there's 23 grandkids. And on Dad's parents' side, there's 20 grandkids. So between that, it's really like, oh, and then there's all the in-laws.
And also your side of the family lives in very different parts of the States.
So like when someone invites to families, like, hey, it's Thanksgiving or hey, we're having like a Christmas Eve dinner or something like that, which actually nobody does. Nobody goes for Christmas Eve anymore. Grandparents go to Aaron's house because they live close, but nobody does Christmas anymore together unless grandparents are near someone. Do you know what I mean? But Thanksgiving is like the big travel to or don't travel family thing. And that's really just who's doing it and who's in town. And there's been times where we're like,
we actually did
I don't want to
combined.
drive. We did 1 year. Mm-hmm.
1 year we did combined
We did our
families.
family, my family and dad's. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get you for Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yes, we'll be here for Thanksgiving, and then...
So that means no Christmas presents for you. If you don't come home. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not that evil. But I am sad. Do you come for New Year's then? Is that how that's going to work?
Yeah, I guess.
Or do
I
you
don't
come
know.
like, some people do like Christmas Eve at one house and Christmas Day at the next.
Yeah, we
although
just drive
you're
7
like
hours.
7 hours, so...
I don't know. Brady and I still haven't figured that out, so we have to see. But other not habits.
Traditions is probably a better thing. Because when Dad and I I'll say some of mine. When Dad and I got married, there were very different habits and things. So Dad's family watched a lot of rated R movies and my family did not. That's like one really major difference. My family just did not. So when we became our family, we do not watch rated R movies, and that's like now become our culture, right? Does that make sense? Another thing, and that's not like a tradition, like, hey, let's all get together and watch a rated R movie. It's just what they did, like their culture of their family.
That
so
just
that's
tended to be the types of movies they ended up watching.
Yes. I mean, they watched all sorts of movies, but that was like a hard rule in my house, no rated R movies, right? And so we just don't do that. And other things include like traditions that you do, like when we both got married, we lived at Dad's parents' house, right? And so he would always come home and talk to Tutu. And so I would get mad because he wouldn't come up to the apartment. So we had to adjust that, right? Like, you got to do this. Okay. So traditions, habits that you kept from our family going on.
One I can remember right now, and it's not like the craziest one, is Sundays. So at home,
okay.
Sundays, I feel like I remember it used to be Disney movies.
Yeah.
And like family-friendly movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then it switched to
Jesus movies.
We
love Jesus.
Which is obviously completely fine. Brady and I do not do that. His family...
You don't believe in Jesus?
So, Mom, I actually have something to tell you.
Religion change. Surprise.
It's the worst place ever to do that. No. His family is more about like just family time, right? So he kind of grew up more on as long as we're spending time as a family, we can watch something together.
Got it.
Yes, let's not make it something all guns and shooting and whatnot. His family also watches movies that are a little more, I feel like I could say like timid, like in the sense of
mellow? Like, what do you mean? Intense. Less intense.
Less intense, I feel like.
On
I don't know.
Sunday specifically or like in general?
No, just in general. But I guess I can't say that exactly. I think what they might watch is just a little different from what I feel like we've watched.
Yeah.
At least from what I can remember.
I want to hear. So name something that they've watched.
No, I don't know what they've watched, but for us, we will kind of actually watch anything really together. Like we've watched Grey's Anatomy, or we watch Disney movies, or we watch kind of the regular same movies that we would watch any other day. Because we don't watch horror, we don't watch killing movies, but our Sundays are more based on just spending time together and honestly just being lazy. Our routine,
I believe in rest
over the weekend is Saturday, like Friday night is our date night. So we don't do any work. I don't film anything. We don't do anything like that. The minute he finishes work, it's no work. It's our time together.
So I have a question about that. Is that what his parents do? Is Friday night their date night?
No, that's something that we just created ourselves.
Okay, so this is interesting because this is not something that you brought from your home or your childhood home or his, and you created like it because Dad and I, Jason and I, we go on dates whenever we can. We're like, oh, this week it's Tuesday, we're going out, and next week, whatever. So I like that you set a day. That's really great.
And I think that that's something that we took on based on what we've learned from our families. Now, it might not be because of a specific routine that we've seen or found, but just based on what we've learned from our parents. But then Saturday is our day to like get lots of stuff done and have more fun. YouTube, working.
Yeah, I feel like Saturday's like a do everything day.
Mm-hmm. And
or
then Sunday,
absolutely nothing at all.
Sometimes it ends up being that. It's going to be that this weekend. But then Sunday is our day where I don't clean. We don't clean. We find food.
We just shove all the dishes in the sink.
We do. Yep.
Girl,
and then Monday we do a reset.
I totally get that.
So that's something that we've brought on that I feel like we've kind of learned from families. So
that's cool. I like that. It's good to hear that. And I think how long have you been married?
I think 4 months now.
Okay, almost 4 months.
So a little bit of time, but not too
so
long
we'll
time.
revisit this at like a year because I would love to see over the year what's happened, how you've progressed to okay, now this is our routine or this is not our routine, right?
Yeah, how things change.
Things that have kind of evolved.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got married in April. What were some things about marriage life that you were like, whoa? I was not expecting this, or nobody told me about this, kind of habits and having to talk to your spouse when it's awkward, kind of I don't like that he said that. You know what I mean? Anything.
Yeah.
I have an example. So when Dad and I got first married, people give you all sorts of advice. And so you're like, oh, this is a great idea. This is a great idea. This is a great idea. And you kind of have these expectations, which expectations are literally the root of all evil.
Get rid of all expectations you could possibly think
That
of.
is something that I think we all have these expectations when you get married. You watch a lot of rom-coms or Disney romances.
Or even just seeing people around
your own family, whatever. Then you kind of think, oh, this is what married life should be like. So we got married and we got some advice. And one of the advice cards I remember reading was never go to bed angry.
I feel like this is such a classic.
Right? So many people are like, never go to bed angry. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. So we're married probably less than a month, maybe even a couple weeks. I don't even know. And we get in our first little kind of disagreement. And we never really disagreed while we were dating. And so it was kind of, how do I navigate this? What do I say? I really don't like that he said that. I don't even remember what it was about. I mean, I have no clue. But it was at night and we're getting ready to get into the bed. And I was upset at Dad. I'm mad at him. And he's, we were having this conversation and he says, I'm going to bed so I don't say anything I regret, which is wise. Very wise.
Yeah.
And I had this advice in my head. No, we're not going to go to bed angry. We are not going to go to bed angry.
Therapist Mary,
Aunt Mary or
from
Cousin Mary or
not
whoever,
an actual therapist.
Right? No, not real advice. It was just advice from someone that had been
just
married.
Something that they had learned.
Which granted, a lot of advice is from experience and that's great. Yeah, I sat up on the edge of the bed and Dad passed out. Jace passed out literally probably less than 10 minutes. He fell asleep on the bed and I was so mad that he went to bed.
You're just still there.
And I was angry.
When you wake up, when he wakes up.
And I was so upset. So I sat on the floor and I had this huge turmoil and I was what do I do? Do I wake him up to finish our argument? No, that's rude. But do I just get all huffy and puffy? But I couldn't go to sleep. I had this energy
now you have
and this
angst in you. Yeah. Just this emotion.
Anyways, it took me a long time to go to bed. And then in the morning, I was so upset. I said, you went to bed and we were both angry and essentially we talked a little bit and it was, that's a dumb rule. And that's probably not going to work for us because you do at night are more tired. You're less patient if it's the end of the day. So if you're having an argument in the evening, you probably are going to say something that you regret or should not have said because you are not at your best. Whereas at the morning, you're well rested, maybe you have energy. You probably are going to filter some of those thoughts a lot better. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that was something that when I got married was a huge shock that Dad was not going to listen to all the expectations I wanted.
We received that one as well. I want to say to this day, we still have never gone to bed angry.
Oh, that's good.
And most of our tizzies and arguments happen at night. So I think, yes, obviously the arguments at night, you will be less patient, you will be more emotional,
So
But
did
for
you
Brady and I,
resolve it before you went to bed?
Yeah, we've
Oh,
always
good.
resolved things before we've gone to bed. Now it's taken many more hours than, say, if it was the daytime. But we've always been able to resolve it.
Or get to a point where you're like, that's fine. We'll talk about this later.
Like this is okay. What was your question though?
What are other things, maybe advice or things that happened?
Oh, yes, okay.
With a thought of what this is going to be like in marriage. And now it's like, whoa.
I will say, for starters, I was a dreamer. I loved rom-coms. I'm pretty sure I knew High School Musical like the back of my hand.
Yes. Clay's probably watched that like a dozen times.
My hope, because
School Musical?
I was such a romantic.
That's so funny.
That I just kind of looked at relationships in movies. I looked at relationships in real life. Like just people that, I don't know, say high school friend A and B, or people that I don't even know, but you just see how cute they look together. And they're laughing together.
Even harder now with social media, because all you're seeing is makeup on, like nice little things, and then also these montages with beautiful music of their weekend that happened,
of
right?
cute moments, things like that,
highlights.
And that created this image and this idea, expectation in my head, and some of it completely unintentionally. Now, yes, through movies and through certain relationships, those created an expectation that I kind of built in my own head, right? I did that myself, but then also just relationships that you just see online, friends,
and how did
whatever.
you like overcome this? How did you go, okay?
I think it's just taken many months to realize, no. This is our relationship. This is like, we can't take literally anything that we have seen, that we have created an image of, because there's probably, I'd say 80% chance that some part of that is unrealistic. Now we can build it ourselves, right? And we can create some of those habits, some of those ways for ourselves, but we cannot base it off of what we saw person A, person C, movie A do.
Which is like really great advice and really good reminders for ourselves. I find that like even now, married so many years, 20-something years, I still see these movies and I go, oh, like, right? Like, I wish I had that cuteness, you know? But then going, no, I have a different cuteness. My cuteness or my life that is really cute in different ways looks a little bit different. And something for me, I feel like it's helped me is when I'm really grumpy, I have to keep a gratitude journal. And I find that when I go and I'm like, I'm grateful in my marriage, or this for my spouse, and this for my spouse, or this for my spouse. That helps you to, I think, love and be more patient and be more kind to yourself, but also to like your situation or however the marriage looks.
And then also I would say another thing was our personal time, because once I moved down to Arizona and I was closer to Brady, we spent all the time after his work together, and we did stuff together. And then once we were married, of course, the honeymoon phase and just these highs, you want to spend all your time together, you want to not have to deal with any chores together, or
that's like
tasks.
The work that's not fun.
Yeah. Brady and I had a hard time trying to figure out, okay, I have all day to do a bunch of stuff.
So you discovered you had to balance your time, because living alone or living at our house, then getting married looks very different.
Specifically about, like, Brady has his own hobbies. He loves to play volleyball. He has cars that he loves to fix up and maintain. And those are things that he has to do in the free time that we have together.
Yes.
So that was something we had to figure out.
He has a very different work schedule than you do. So he's gone a lot. And then when he comes home, you're probably like, hey, I did all my stuff. I want to hang out. And he's like, oh, but now I've got stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've been able to figure it out. Again, Saturdays are the days where we
do the family stuff.
Do the family things. Stuff. I think also now being married for a little bit longer, I know that we have lots of time in the week together. And so he goes to volleyball 2 times a week, or sometimes 1 time a week. It just depends. And that's more time for myself. But I know that he will be happier and he will feel good for himself, because I think that's also super important when you're married. You are still two individual people.
Yes. I like that.
That are trying to come together and create a team.
I love that. And that's really great that you've noticed that, because I think it took me many years without being, say, jealous or upset. Like dad would go surfing or dad would go, and he, you know, like hobbies that I don't have.
Yeah.
And to support him. And it was hard. And so I think you're very wise, like already, to go, okay, this is so good for you. And when you're happy, we're even happier together.
Yeah.
You know, which is so great, because it took me a long time to figure that one out.
I still get jealous sometimes.
And do you have a hobby, Clay? You have lots of fun things that you do.
I love to scroll.
It's a good hobby.
I love scrolling. No,
Clay makes some really good sourdough.
Yeah, I've gotten into cooking. That's been a big one.
You've done really good. She even made ratatouille, which I've never made. That's like super impressive.
That was really fun. That, honestly, all you need is one of those slicer machine thingies.
Do you have a machine thingy?
I do. From our wedding registry.
Oh, fancy.
That
because
really just makes it easier.
When we started like having everyone cook and have a meal of the week when you were in high school or junior high, probably high school, Clay was the one that was like experimental. And you would pull out this fancy recipe, and I was like, oh no.
Because I loved the fancy recipes.
Having to help a child who is good, she knows how to cook a lot of things, but when you try a new recipe, you're like, oh, I don't know how long this is going to take, because I don't know how to make this or this. Yeah. Clay makes really good gumbo, who is actually, I've never learned to make a roux until Clay made a roux. So
I didn't know that it was a thing. I only thought...
Well, but it's because I never learned, so I never taught you down, right? So it's good to learn new things, and so you can teach
that gumbo recipe. I still probably make once a month.
It's so good,
but I need to make it less spicy, because Brady doesn't like as much.
He doesn't like spice
as much. I was the first one to bring a hot sauce to his family's house. His family doesn't have hot sauces.
No.
So Brady and I, one of the times I was visiting,
nothing.
No.
What?
None of it. Salsa, but
they probably have like the super mild salsa.
We literally bought Tabasco and Cholula. No, Tabasco and like a buffalo sauce.
And you like put it in there.
And put it in his fridge. And I remember his mom, I don't know if you remember, she like mentioned it when we were all at dinner one time.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, that's yours. I was wondering where that came from.
You're like,
we don't own those.
Who is this? This is a nice clean bottle that no one touches.
She's like, it's probably Clay's. So
that is so funny. All right, last question. How are you navigating or finding balance between in-laws as well as like family home expectations? We kind of talked about that expectation of home, of like being at home and coming home and being like, oh, you're on the chores or you've got these things, which is really great information. And I'm going to learn from this. But do you feel like there was anything that you needed to navigate with in-laws? Like balance or, I mean, honestly, her in-laws are so fantastic.
They're amazing.
Great.
We love them so much. No, I don't think
like
so.
You mentally had to adjust to, just like a rhythm that they do that you don't do.
Brady and I have both had to adjust to just kind of this mindset that we've both created based on how we've lived at home.
Yeah.
I think that our family swears sometimes.
Ours?
Yes.
We swear? I don't swear. Dad swears once in a while. We really like to say damn jokes when we go across the dam.
Their family doesn't do that at all. Like, they don't say frick. They don't say
crap.
They probably say crap, yeah. But, like, they don't say any of those kinds of words. So
like
I came into the house.
Swear words.
Yes, like, gosh dang it. No, actually, I don't know about that one. But, like, mother trucker. I haven't said that in so long.
For the record, I told you to stop saying that because I hate that when Dad says it. I hate that one, mother trucker.
Really? Why is that?
Because it's too close to the real words, guys.
No, he doesn't like when we say father mucker.
Yes, I don't like that one. Stop it. Ah! I can't believe that.
No, I actually have gotten a lot better.
So you're saying we have potty mouths, which is crazy because we do not swear.
Yes.
We don't swear.
In this family, and I don't know if this was...
Have we said something and Brady's like...
I don't even know.
We don't really swear,
you guys haven't... I don't think you guys have ever sworn. And it's not like Brady's going to be like, oh, you just said a swear word.
Like
he is not... Yeah, like mother fricker, I can't, like... We just don't say that. Now, his family's really awesome because they're not going to tell me what to do. They don't tell Brady what to do. Like if I were to say that.
Yeah. So then what
happens?
happens?
Kind of like.
How do you know that that's not allowed?
Because Brady gets really nervous. Brady's like. So that was a little hard to navigate.
Say? What did you say?
I don't know. I don't think.
But something like fricker.
Probably something like that. But not at the dinner table. Not like when the whole family's together.
So they have like formal dinners.
No, I wouldn't say formal dinners, but their dinners, like their dinner table is more
sacred.
Focus and like, what's the word?
I'm intrigued.
Like they have. Oh, Brady actually mentioned this. So here's one from Brady's side.
Oh no.
I put my feet up on the table after like dinner was kind of done, right? When we came and visited. Do you remember that? And Brady was like,
at our house.
What the heck are you doing? Like, why are
like
your
on
feet...
the table or like up like on a chair?
No. My foot was on the table. I was showing something. Dinner was done.
And cleaned
but we
up.
were still at the table.
Yes.
I put my foot on the table. Which, yeah, I get that that's just
I get
weird
that.
and
We're
gross
a little bit more casual than they are.
But he was like, what are you doing? Like, we do not do that. They had a lot more table etiquette. That's the word.
Memo to self. I gotta like teach the kids table etiquette.
Like, I think Brady and I were I learned this just now. Brady and I were at dinner for our date, and we were talking
like a nice
about
dinner.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I realized your family doesn't have as much of like this table etiquette. No, I don't think he didn't say that at all.
Like table expectations?
Yeah,
or
table
like...
etiquette, table expectations.
Weird.
And then I was like, oh yeah, like what did your family do? And he was like, we weren't allowed to have our elbows on the table. We weren't allowed to talk about specific topics.
Guys, I tried that when they were 5.
Yeah,
and that was just
And then we
pointless.
tried that. I feel like we tried that here too. Insane.
I've tried it many times. Just didn't work.
No. And of course,
which
now
I think because I'm a casual person, I'm sitting with my like knees up and my feet up. Like I'm more casual, so I think it's hard to be like you guys.
And again, his family doesn't.
They're a little bit more proper in that sense.
Yes, but now they don't enforce it the same way, obviously, because now they're all grown up, except for Sawyer. So Sawyer has it a little more enforced.
They don't say that to the teenage
things.
girls.
Everyone still has their elbows on the table, basically, is what I'm saying. Now, obviously, certain topics are still not talked about at the table.
Like what?
I don't know. I don't know what specific topics, because it's not like I've ever been in an experience.
Like, we don't have bathroom humor at the table. When you guys were little, I was like, we don't talk about that at the table.
We still do.
What?
We're very casual. Now, this is coming from...
I'm learning this.
I have now been living and seeing a very other side of a family.
Yes, that's true. So
that
now you have
here
a comparison.
Much more casual.
It's true.
Is much
and
more...
I think you're right. Maybe our goal as like a family was to be more open and open conversations, which leads to more casualness because... You know, like how we've talked about, like the safe couch, how we would have conversations. And like when there was hard things to talk about, we like had a special place where we hoped that everyone felt like they could have this conversation and be safe. But, or not safe, but like feel whatever. Less pressure or embarrassment, shame, whatever. Anyways, and so I feel like we try to have now it's not like, okay, the safe couch is only where we talk about things. So now we actually probably try to talk more about stuff at the dinner table as well.
Well, and I think with personalities... I know that Dad's mentioned, like, he jokes about it a little more to keep it more lighthearted.
Yeah.
About specific topics. That then it's more casual joking about it.
Yes.
Whereas his family is much more serious about specific topics.
And
that doesn't mean no questions at all. We're not talking about it at all. We're very guarded. It's not that. It's just there's a time and a place where it's talked about.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So there's a little less, it's a little more formal, basically. Yeah. If that makes sense.
No, totally. And that's interesting because I feel, and it's so true because we do, again, like in the comparison to like our family is weird, is we are just louder. We are more casual, apparently, you know, and that's okay because every family has their dynamics. And that's like the best part is now you can like glean from them. Oh my gosh, I really like this and this. And then from our family, you can be like, oh, I do really like this and this and this. And what are we going to do together in the future, right? Now, what's going to be really interesting, which this is in the far not far, but in the future is what happens when you have kids. Because I find that
That's going to change a lot of things.
I have 4 older siblings. And by the time I had you, everyone had at least 1 kid, if not 2. And so at this point, I was like getting advice again from everybody. And everyone had different sleep ideas, and everyone had different everyone parents differently. And we're all trying to help and support each other. But so I am fascinated when you do get to the point where you have children, what that's going to look like for you. And obviously babies, it's one phase, and then you get to toddlers, and then more parenting comes on, and there's different things. And anyway, so that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that'll be. I think that's why we definitely need to take our time to know what we do and do not want. And obviously you can't fully prepare yourself before.
Well, and I like that you're obviously creating your own family culture now between the 2 of you.
Yeah.
And then a baby will change what that
so
looks
there
like.
isn't some type of huge crazy belief and expectation that one of us had, that now having a baby we're like, oh well, I thought you knew that, like, this is how we were going to do this, basically.
Yeah. So you're still working on blending, which is very exciting, and trying to navigate what marriage looks like. All right. We've loved having Clay. I'm going to actually interview probably more kids, so that'll be really fun. Comment down below questions, even from Clay. Visit Clay on Instagram, her YouTube channel. Who knows what more fun adventures she's going to be doing. And then comment down below what kids and what questions we should have them on and interview them with, because it's going to be a really fun series of one-on-one with our kids. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on Raising Ohana. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.